Hi, welcome to For the Culture Canada, the center point of art and entrepreneurship. Today I have a very special guest. He's actually not from Kelowna, which is a change of pace for us. But what we have going on is this individual is from Oliver, BC. What he does is that he runs a fashion brand called JB Gear. JB Gear is interesting because it's a clothing brand that makes one-of-one clothing, meaning each piece that is created is handmade and only exclusive in that one piece, which is very unique amongst all these other different types of brands that often get just screen prints of like 10 shirts, 20 shirts, 30, 50, whatever. So I find this to be really crazy. And the thing is that it's not even just t-shirts or anything. There's do-rags, there's pants, there's side bags, there's all sorts of crazy shit. And that totally it blows my mind, the amount of work that this guy does. Always working. I'm really thrilled to have Julian Bontorin here on my show today. So thank you so much for being here, man.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. I appreciate this a lot.
Yeah, no worries. I actually was just at your show on Friday, which was so sick at the Habitat.
Yeah, man, that was an awesome night, man. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the invite, man.
Yeah, man, anytime. I love to have new people, meet new people, come out and catch a vibe.
Yeah, exactly. But yo, listen, before we get into that show though, I wanted to sort of get into your history. So tell me where you came from and how you got to the place that you're at right now.
Well, I'm originally from Oliver, BC, and then I came to Kelowna for only 3 years in high school. And once I came to Kelowna, it was just like I got this really good sense of community in everyone.
Yeah.
And like everybody getting along and everything. So like once I started getting into the clothes, I joined the sewing class in high school, and then I just started going with it. And then I started meeting people at school that were like really interested in this.
Right.
So they were like, "Oh, can you put something with my name on it?" And it was like this one buddy, and then I just ended up putting his initials on the shirt, and then he would be rocking it around high school.
Yeah.
And then people just kept coming to me like that, and then I just kept sewing, just keep practicing and everything.
Yeah.
And after that, I thought I was just gonna like stay there forever, but I got a great opportunity to go to New York on a fashion field trip, and that really opened my eyes to like this whole new world of like fashion and music and everything. And like I was just walking there in the flesh. Like I brought a few clothes that I made, one of the first pieces I made to New York, and a bunch of people on the street were like asking me, "Oh, like where can I get this?" Like this guy wanted to cut my hoodie like right on the spot there, and like just stuff like that. So I was like, man, maybe I really have something here. Like, so I came back and I saw this program in Vancouver as like the fashion design technology program at Kwantlen, and I was like, man, I got to go to this. Like I'm starting to like really have a passion for this, and I would love to actually learn the craft,
Yeah. That's awesome. That's crazy. Okay. By the way, I know a lot of Kelowna people watching this are going to be wondering, what high school did you go to?
Mount Boucherie on the west side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like we've been around, man. Like we come to Kelowna for the parties and all that stuff. So like everybody really knew each other back then. Like, like Tumblr days, like everybody was on Tumblr and like talking on all that stuff. So like it was just like one big community,
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And what made you actually get into sewing in the first place? It's not really a thing that a lot of Kelowna dudes are often into.
Yeah. Well, I think it was from the music, man. Like the music really opened my eyes to like the clothing, like especially the word association and brand association with the rappers, like talking about all these brands and like different lifestyle that you can have by like wearing these clothes.
Yeah.
So that like really intrigued me into just like starting to try it out myself. Like the first piece I ever had, I was walking through a construction site.
Yeah.
And a guy just left a old black Cohart jacket.
Yeah.
It was all dirtied up, and I was like, okay, I'm taking this home, and I like patched it up and everything, and I like was doing it was just hand sewing at the time, and I just patched it up and I wore it to school, and like that was like before I knew. It was just like after that people were just like, oh, I've never seen this before, like can I have something,
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
Yo, that's so wild. That's crazy. And what music was it that really got you into it, by the way? What were you listening to?
So when I first moved to Kelowna, I met DZ. He's my rapping partner from Calgary right now. He introduced me to Soulja Boy.
Oh.
And like before that, I was like Lil Wayne and all those guys, but like Soulja Boy is like really inspired me because like he made his own little world, like he he had his own brand and everything, like SODMG, and like just that whole making your own brand and like branding yourself that way like really inspired me to like, and just like the way he was, like he didn't really care and he just showed people like just gotta be yourself, and like that's how he popped off, you know. He just did
Yeah.
his own new thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So like that like really rooted from there. And then like I don't know, man, I've listened to everybody, honestly, like
Yeah.
just dipping and dabbing. Like I just go through phases of like different artists. Like I could go to Flatbush Zombies and then like go listen to Tyga like back in the day, like
Yeah.
Last King's tape and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like I would just go through so many phases and like get different tastes of music, and like then I was like, okay, well, I understand this now. Like let me like try doing this with the clothes, because like it really speaks through the clothing, like especially when you attach the music beside it.
Mm-hmm.
You can like really tell a story.
Yeah, 100%. What kind of story are you trying to tell with all the clothing that you make?
Well, I just want to give people opportunity to like really feel themselves, because like a lot of the times there's like people kind of feel like they don't want to go out or something because like I don't know, they don't have nothing to wear, they're just not feeling themselves at the moment. And like the reason I do one of one is just because you are a one of one, right, as a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I really like doing custom stuff, because people can come to me and choose what they like and like tell me what they like, and like once that comes to life and they have that personal connection to the clothing, then they're on like the next planet. Like they're really feeling themselves, you know? 'Cause
Exactly.
it's like a personal touch. It's not coming some random factory from China. Like it's like I did it with my hands for you, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, totally. And I think that is really appealing for lots of different kinds of people. Like, especially in New York, for example,
Yeah.
people love being different. People
Yeah,
love
man.
being unique and having something that's the next and up and coming.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. And the thing about your style, I find, is that it's very different from at least what I see is popping right now. A lot of what people are into, from what I can tell on a mass scale,
Yeah.
is flowers and really pretty stuff and stuff like that. But you have a very industrial type of look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not obviously mainstream style right now, but like when I first started out, like 2015, like I know for a fact there was not a lot of people sewing on stuff and doing patchwork, like even on the internet. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know if you know Royce Rizzy, he's 24 hours now.
Okay. No, I'm not.
The artist
familiar
24
with him.
hours, but back in high school, like he messaged me like out of nowhere, like nobody was really doing it. He'd like messaged me because I had the patchwork going on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's like the DIY, like do it yourself. Everybody's like loves like adding stuff to themselves, like personalizing their own gear. So it's starting to become really trendy thing.
Yeah. Totally.
It's just like not right on the mainstream, like a hype beast feature right now. Like the hype beast stuff is like very driven by their customers, you know.
Yeah. 100%. Totally. I see what you're saying, because like at, say, for example, Kanye's release party for Ye,
Yeah.
he was wearing a one of one
Yeah.
long sleeve green shirt that he made. So like I get it totally.
Yeah, it's a big trend right now, man. And like I wasn't planning to like catch a trend or anything, but I was just doing what I was doing, and then all of a sudden like a lot of people are starting to do this now.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I have this like background, you know, like I kind of started a bit before the wave hit, so like I feel like I have a lot of practice and like background, like it's more than some people would think. Like
Yeah.
it's just like I kind of get it, and like I understand the system now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we went through where you grew up, what high school you went to, and then you went to New York. So I want to dive into that a little bit. So before we actually started doing the interview, you were telling me that it was a life-changing experience.
Yeah, man, for real.
And you said before as well, before the interview, you went with DZ over...
No, I didn't go with DZ.
Oh, sorry. Who
No,
did you
it's
go
all
with?
good. I went with my high school class. It was a sewing
Oh, your
class.
class. Oh, okay.
So the sewing class was going on a trip to New York.
Yeah.
And like my mom was like, "You have to go." I was like, "I don't have money for that." She's like, "Okay, well, you gotta find something. Like you gotta go. Like you just made all these clothes. Like this is gonna change your life." Like
Yeah.
she always wants me to go travel, meet new people. You know, like that's how it builds character.
Yeah.
So we ended up going, man, and like just wearing my clothes and like get even just a plane ride, you know, just like you just get this crazy energy, and like when you touch down in New York, it's just like hustling and bustling, man. Like just all these crazy shops, like even thrift stores with just like filled with the coolest stuff, man. And like, you might not know of it, but Patricia Field, she has a big storehouse in Soho.
Okay.
And like a lot of celebrities go there, like Miley Cyrus. She's like very well known in New York. Like
Yeah.
she's an OG.
Yeah, of
and
course.
we ended up getting a scheduled meeting in her store, right? It's all like punk rock, like really hipster, like trendy stuff.
Yeah.
For like performances, like crazy, like one-off pieces and all that. And I ended up bringing her my business card.
Really?
Yeah, and she wanted to buy my stuff on the spot. And like I had it at the hotel, like way downtown in Times Square. But like I couldn't take the subway back. Like she's like, "Can you please bring back some pieces? Like we want to like put it in the store." And like we ended up getting in touch when I got back, but like nothing really happened. I'm just like it just like swung by. I was young.
Yeah.
But like just the thought that like somebody like who owns a store in New York was like really interested in my stuff, like that's like that touched me for sure.
Exactly, because it shows where you're going. You
Yeah.
know, it could show your potential on where you could eventually head.
Yeah, and it was also like my enthusiasm, like the way I was explaining things to people and like talking and being like really excited, like that gets people excited about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You got to bring good energy if you want to show people that you really like what you're doing.
Yeah. Exactly. That's so sick. So after New York, then after you graduated high school, what did you do after that?
Yeah, so I decided to enroll in Kwantlen in the fashion design program. So I ended up moving out at 18, like going to Vancouver on my own.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to sew on these industrial machines or anything. I had to take classes and all that.
Right.
And then I just started learning the craziest stuff, man, about design and like drafting and cutting and just like anything you can, like fashion drawing, like everything under the book. Like we've touched everything, man. So like that really opened my eyes of like what is actually going on here. Because like before I was just like in my room, you know, like thinking I knew everything. But
Yeah.
once you really go and learn what's going down, like it really opens your mind and like motivates you to like do more and learn.
Mm-hmm.
And the school is like very, very, very accepting of my work as JB Gear. Like all my projects I've done, because we have projects where we gotta like hand in like pants from scratch and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I've made has been my style of work.
Yo.
Which is like really awesome to do that, with bring my passion to like the learning, and like that's how I can learn. Like
Yeah.
if I bring my interest to it, like it's over. Like I'll just do whatever, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you started JB Gear in college.
No, JB Gear started in 2015.
Okay.
So high school.
Oh,
That's when it was JB Gear, but it wasn't. It was just a couple friends, right? Like.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then once I got to Vancouver, I started meeting all these cool brands, like Sleepless Minds. Like Jason, he does like a crazy job of like manifesting his own brand in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has these like cool clouds and everything all over his clothes all the time, you know, like that. And I got to meet him.
Oh,
so,
yo.
like the first week I was in Vancouver, it was like
Yeah.
a fashion show. And right away I got a taste and like started meeting a bunch of new people and everything.
Right.
And I was like, this is like a really good place for me. Like I could actually like bring something to here.
Yeah.
So I got opportunities to do a few shows. Like I done pop-ups and stuff. Like I ended up doing a pop-up in Chinatown Market in Fortune, like the middle ground there. And like that was super cool. Like coming from Oliver, you know, like who thought I would have had like my own spot there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. So you started it in high school. Where did the logo come from? Because it's a very, like, when I was at your show, I kept looking at it going like, yo, where did this logo come from? What's the design come from?
So the JB, the logo is my initials, right?
Okay.
So you say the J and the B?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Which, like, I don't want to... It's not all about me, obviously. Like, the name isn't, like, Julian Bontorin Gear. It's JB Gear. And, like, what that represents is you have to be yourself, man. Like, if any of you people that know me, like, you know I'm always good energy. Like, everybody... including everybody and like anything that happens, you know, making sure everybody feels good about themselves. So like that's really what it stands for, just always pushing. And like when I'm doing all this work, like I'm really trying to motivate everyone, not just for like fashion, but anything, your craft is like, that's what the logo represents. Like you can do it, you know, like
Yeah.
doesn't matter what anybody says, because like people told me this wasn't any gonna work, and like I just kept going for it, man, like believing in myself, you know.
Yeah.
So like that's just how it came about, and I just kept it since.
Yeah, totally. And in terms of your style, like I was saying earlier, it's very unique in that it's very much your own. How do you see the current fashion the way that it is now? Like, what do you think about brands like Supreme and Gucci and like all these things that those guys are doing? Because you don't rock, from what I can tell so far, you don't seem to be rocking very much of it. It's very much your own gear. So what do you think of all that?
Yeah, well, firstly, I never had money to buy any of that stuff, so that was another big reason why I started doing my own thing. Is just like I didn't really especially like or like love everything that was being put out, and like I didn't have money for that, so like that's when I was just like adding my own style. But these big brands right now, man, are going crazy. Like it's the trend, and it's like the time is now for these guys. And like I think it's a really cool idea how like the culture is very strong, and like everyone's so passionate for these brands. And like I just never been like about the hype like that. Like I've always just been like whatever looks good, you know. Like I know a lot of people go out and just get it because it's the number one top brand and all that.
Yeah.
But like these brands right now are like huge influencers in the game, man. And like just like getting all these rappers and everything to wear their stuff, like that's what I've been trying to do, you know.
Yeah.
Just on a smaller scale, like I've always put like artists and stuff in my gear, and like that's just like a smaller version of what they're doing upstairs, you know.
100%. You've had like quite a few notable people wearing your stuff. You know, you've had Manila Gray wear it at Breakout Festival, which is sick. Was crazy. You've also had Wave Chappelle and Black Youngsta wear your gear as well.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. That was, dude, I was underage 17. Like it was the grade 12, right?
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of gear I just made. And you know Yo Gotti, right?
Yeah.
Yo Gotti came on a tour here to Sapphire, man.
He did?
So, yeah, it was crazy, dog. And we messaged their manager, and they're like, yeah, we have some gear for you guys. And they're like, come on down. And, like, we were trying to look for Gotti, and, like, he was in is it the Grand Hotel?
Yeah.
He was just sitting there eating lunch, and we walked right up to him. We're like, yo, man, we got some gear for the Wave and everybody. And he's like, all right, man, our tour bus is at the back. Like, we'll see you later at night. And, like, we ended up going to the back of Sapphire, and there's, like, this huge tour bus, and, like, Wave Chappelle and everyone were there, and it was crazy. We got to meet them and everything, man, and, like, give them gear, and, like, we went in with them that night. Like, I wasn't even of age yet. And, like, that was, like, my first taste, like, way before anything started, man. It was crazy, yo. We were just, like, dude, this is nuts. Like, and then I just got addicted to that, man.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. And then you also got ski mask to wear your pants?
Yeah, bro, ski was crazy.
Okay, how the fuck did you do that?
Bro, he was just on his first Canadian tour.
Yeah.
And he went through Calgary, and I always send DZ shipments of clothes for his performances and stuff. And he ended up linking up with those guys. And Il Chris, you might see him. He's the Asian guy that kicks it with him.
Yeah.
And him and DZ linked up. And DZ ended up going to the show and like chilling in the green room and stuff. And he offered Ski some clothes, and he thought it was dope, so he just tried it on and kept it. It was a pretty crazy experience, man. It was like his first time in Canada, and he got to rock JB gear, so that was dope.
Yo, mad props on that one. Man, for real. You. When I saw that like blew my mind.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
You know Sean Leon?
Mm-hmm.
From Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he has some of my stuff too.
Damn.
You know his Black Sheep Nirvana logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like went into soundcheck, and like I ended up getting connection for soundcheck, and like I made him a custom shirt, and like he got it and everything. It was dope, man, because he's one of my favorite artists, Sean Leon, because like that's another inspiration for my style.
Yeah.
Because nobody's doing anything like him ever. And like you got that like really like rubbed off on me, like what. Yeah. Just the way he works, man. So I took that mentality and just like put it into my clothes.
Yeah, and it's been working for you.
Man.
Yeah. Let's talk about your influences a little more then. So like who influences you the most? Like what brands influence you the most?
This is like a question like a lot of people ask me, like who are my influences and stuff. Like I never have a good answer for that. Like I don't think anyone like directly like influences me. Like I don't know, like it's hard to say. Like I don't really look at like designer brands like, oh, they did that cool idea, like let me do that. I don't necessarily look at the designs. I look at like the way they work and like what they're telling. Like for example, Sean Leon, like his mentality or like the mentality of the brand, you know, the energy, like I'll take that. energy, not necessarily the designs, you know.
Right. Yeah, that makes
That
a lot
makes
of sense.
yeah.
Okay. So it's sort of like you take a lot of pieces from different places, but just sort of like on a passive kind of way.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
really
yeah.
like
I don't like. I'm not like taking a screenshot and be like, put it right beside me. I'm like, I'm doing this. Like, no.
no.
I don't look at anything when I work. I put it down on the table and it's like on the spot. Like everything's on the spot.
Right. Okay.
So I don't have time to go look at what everyone's doing. You know, that's why my stuff's so unique because it's just me. You know.
Yeah. How long does it take you to make a piece?
Depends what it is, man.
Okay.
Like these pants I'm wearing right now, they probably took like a couple hours just because like I had to like plan it out and everything, you know.
Right. So do you pre-plan everything that you make it, or is it just sort of like you take some pieces, put it together? What's the process?
It's on the spot, man. Like I have shelves and shelves of different work, like pieces, like buckles, fabrics, different thread colors and all that, and I'll grab what I'm feeling at the moment and I'll just lay everything out. I like put different fabrics beside each other, try to get a visual, and then I just like, usually my eyes have already made something up on because this is a blank canvas, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's just like, I don't know, it just takes over and like, that's the best feeling I can get. Like once I'm in the zone, like it's just like an ecstasy feeling, man. Like it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's crazy.
That's true artistry right there, man.
Yeah, like I just get geeked up, man. Like I'm just like so happy and everything, like thinking the best things about life. Like I get like all like floaty, spacey. Like I don't even know how to. Every time I work, man, like if I'm stressed out or whatever, it's because I'm not working. Like right when I get into my machine, like everything's okay.
There you go.
It's like crazy.
Yeah. There you go, man. I find that hugely inspiring because the thing is, that's what makes a mark of a true artist, right? Yeah. And I really respect that. I think the world is better placed with people like you.
Yeah, man.
You know,
for real.
Which is crazy. Which is super, super cool. What do you find are obstacles in what you do, though? Because obviously what you're doing gives you a mad rush. You feel really good about it. People rock what you wear. But what do you find is hard about what you do, though?
I think the hardest thing is like overthinking, like if people are actually gonna like it or not.
Yeah.
Because like, you can do all the work you want, and like if it's in your head that people aren't gonna like it, that's really gonna mess you up. And that's like a really big challenge of like accepting your art for what it is. Like there's people out there that want it. Like no matter what form of art it is, people out there are gonna listen, watch, or like experience it with you. It's just about finding the right people, you know. And like that can be a really frustrating thing for a lot of artists. Like that can actually stop them from like pushing forward, like that little mental box you're in, like and it's a really tough thing, man. Like it doesn't just go away, you know. Like you have to like practice to accept yourself and all that, and I think that's like the biggest challenge for me.
Yeah, totally.
Even though like I do a lot of work, it's like still I'm just like, oh, like that's it, you know. Like I gotta do some more, like that wasn't good enough or whatever. Like even though people are like dapping me up, like this is crazy, I'm just like, oh, like thanks, man, but like I don't know about it. But like that's just something I have to get better at, is like really listening to the people and like being more positive about my own work, you know. Like that's just it is. You're just hard on yourself, you know.
Yeah,
but that comes with it.
It's all about making sure that your ego just sort of like stays in check, you know. It's a balance that you sort of have to play in terms of like you don't want to have like your ego bruised if people don't really fuck with it, or like that's how at least I feel about the stuff that I make.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like ego is like, people probably think I have a pretty big ego. Like I do a lot on social media. Like I'm always posting. Like I'm not like showing off to you guys. I'm just like trying to inspire you. Like I'm doing my best to like show you that you can do it too. I'm not trying to like shit on anyone, you know, by like showing off and all that. It's really just to motivate, like. And like you have to have good energy about yourself, man. You have to like give yourself the crown sometimes. Like just because you have the crown doesn't mean other people don't have a crown. Like everybody does. So you have to live on your high horse, but like not knock anyone down.
Yeah,
if everyone's on a high horse, that's dope. But if you knock someone down, then that's like a problem. But you gotta think highly of yourself for sure.
You gotta make sure to at least have a strong backbone if people try to like push you down, right? You gotta be able to stand up for what you believe in. But the thing though is that as long as you just keep on doing your work, no one can fault you for that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, as long as you just keep on doing what you're doing. So when you were starting out, by the way, were you just doing shirts and stuff, or did you eventually, was it like, I'm gonna branch out into pants now I'm gonna do do-rags? Like, how did you get into like all the different things that you're doing, and where do you find all the pieces that you're getting as well?
Well, firstly, like a lot of like I started like upcycling stuff, like these pants, right? Like they're reworked. Like this is from another pair of pants, right? I don't like, not everything is made from scratch, but I've definitely made a lot of pieces from scratch, like designing, drafting, like sewing up hoodies from scratch, like the right measurements and all that. Like that does take a lot of work. So I do the thing. That's another thing. Like I have real design experience with sewing pieces from scratch myself, like understanding the measurements and all that. But a lot of the times it's just like going to thrift stores and stuff, finding dope pieces, and also a lot of people bring me their clothes. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
Like people bring me their gear and like I give it a new life, and I already know it fits them, you know?
Yeah,
So people
exactly.
just have stuff laying in their closet all the time, never wearing it, the same black shirt, and they're just like, yo, can you work it up a bit?
Yeah.
And it's like it gives them a second life. Like that's really important to me, is just like you don't need to keep buying the same white tee, like just reuse it to the next thing, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. So when you do all that for people, do you often charge them for what you're doing?
Yeah, man, I do. But
What
a
do you
lot
charge?
depends on the work, man.
Yeah.
It really depends.
Right.
Like a shirt I'll usually do like 40 or 50, but like I feel like I underprice myself a lot, just because like I just think that's just like that back to before. Like you gotta think more highly of yourself for the work. Like you can't beat yourself up. Like usually I'm just like, oh, it's not that good, so I'll just charge you less. But it's really like dope, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like a hard thing to like, because I have a lot of friends that come over and like everyone's coming, I'm just working, and like if I want you to have a piece, like don't even worry about it. Like if we're going out, like I'll make you a piece because I want you to have it. I'm not gonna like sit here and use my friends as like a bank. Like, oh, I'll make it like kind of like a blackmail, you know? Like, oh, I'll make this, but like you're giving me money. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, here, come out with me. Like, I want you to wear this.
Of course, which is smart. It makes for good marketing for you, honestly. Especially when you have a crew of people wearing the same shit. I get you. I see what you're doing, which is good, though.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, like, you gotta pay me, man. Like, this is taking forever, and like, I got other priorities. Like, I'm in university and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't be just like messing up my work just for this, you know?
Yeah, you're a student still. You're in 4th year.
Yeah, I'm a student, man.
So it's a hard life to live as a student, you know?
Yeah, but it's dope, man. I'm in a really good spot. Like, I feel really blessed to be in a program that I'm actually very passionate about.
100%. Yeah,
which like makes things way easier on my side.
Totally, because you develop a lot of the skills, and you also get a lot of connections through the work that you're doing and the education you get.
Just feeling good overall really helps you in school, like to just do that extra step, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you also had your work featured in the there was the Vancouver, it was a runway.
Oh, Van City Street.
Yeah, Van City Street. Yeah.
So that was dope. That was my second year doing it.
Okay. So what was that all about? How did you get that set up?
There's a really dope lady in Vancouver called Crystal, and she works with Blueprint. And it was their first year, and she wanted to start up like a fashion runway, because like we have Vancouver Fashion Week, but like you gotta pay a lot of money in there, and like it's just like not everybody can get in there, you know? It's not like real culture, you know? It's like kind of set up a way, and like not everybody can get there, you know?
Right.
So she wanted to make like a real underground vibe for like streetwear brands, like the reality of stuff, like, you know, people come and know, like we're working in our basement, so like you want to still bring that vibe out to the city, you know?
Yeah.
So she just put on an event with like runway, live music and all that. And the first one I did was in MIA in Gastown.
Okay.
So it was in the club, which is dope, and a runway. Like, that's so cool, man. Like, she does a great job of bringing everyone together and making sure everything's good energy and all that.
Yeah.
And, like, when I'm looking for models, like, it's not like... The thing that bugs me is, like, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I can't model. Like, I'm not skinny or whatever. It's like, that's not how it works these days, man. Like, maybe for, like, the top, like, Milan Fashion Week and all that. But, like, for this stuff, man, like, I don't care who you are. If you have good energy and you like my stuff, like, let's get it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like all you can see on my runways, like, it's all my homies, like just people with good energy that want to be around. Like if you want to be around, you can be around, you know? Like that's what JB Gear like really represents well, is like people really just being themselves. Like you can tell on the runway and stuff, like they're really that person, you know? They're really feeling themselves, and like they're really happy like walking down, you know? It's not like a set up thing.
Yeah, exactly. Which is cool. I think it makes it a lot more authentic, and I think it speaks to the underground a lot more that way. And to be honest, the thing that comes to my mind is that I feel like people like Kanye and people that are like really up there that know about fashion would prefer to see what's in the underground versus what's like up there high fashion, you know? Because it's like on the underground is what really cool, innovative shit comes from, I think, which is dope.
Yeah, man. Like, of course they got to see what's going on in their upscale life, but like a lot of these ideas, like look what Virgil did, man.
Yeah.
He just took a streetwear brand, and now high fashion is streetwear because of him.
Yeah, now he works at Louis V. Like,
yeah, bro.
It's like a huge statement right now.
It is. It's crazy. Like all of these high-end brands are doing like patchwork, like screen prints. Like you don't see like these Louis Vuitton like doing screen prints a lot of the time. Like now it's like the culture is here, and like that's what it is. So like the people like us, like we can like we get hyped because like this is what it is right now, you know.
They pay attention to you. They see what's up.
I don't know if they pay attention to us, but like these, because it's really hard to find people through social media and stuff. Like these guys are living really busy lives, man. But I feel like if I got a chance to talk to those guys, like I feel like they feel me, man. Like if I got any chance, like I think I could show them what I have, and like they'd be pretty impressed.
You did talk to them though. You talked to Dolce Gabbana over in Italy. Right?
Yeah, I did, man.
Yeah.
I actually like it was one of the stylists there, and she does like she runs like a fashion blog there, and like she wasn't the owner or anything, but she was just like, she loved it, man. Like when I was in Milan, like my family is from Italy, like both sides of my family are Italian, so like I've been there a few times now, and like I really want to start heading over there a lot, bringing my style, and like because I have lots of family that I could stay with to like really like see what's going on over there, because like I think I could be a part of that.
Yeah, right. So so there was a particularly standout sort of like set of photos that I saw when you went to Italy. Was it like a really sort of inspirational, or like a really sort of like was it just like a great trip for you or like revolutionary for you the same way that New York was?
Yeah, man, that was my third time in Italy, but this time I was actually older, and like I had something that I liked. Like I knew what I wanted to go there for. Like obviously it was family, but it was like really reassuring, because like my family is very welcoming. Like everybody that knows me, like my family is like all about bringing people together and having good energy, and like going to Italy, like where my family comes from, right? It just shows like, yeah, this is like exactly what should be going on. Like that's why with my brand I really bring that community vibe, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So when I went there, I was like, yeah, this is right. Like I've been doing the right thing, you know? And then I got to go to Milan, and like that really was crazy, man. Like I was going to every designer store, like talking. I would just bring my business cards out, man. I was just going right to the person. Like I'm not scared to talk to anybody. Like
hell yeah.
I'll look at the clothes in the store a bit, but like I want to talk to the people, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, even if they don't follow me or whatever, like it's worth a shot, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Which I think is, I think it's a good thing to do. Make sure to get your name out there as much as you possibly can.
You can't stay quiet, man.
No, of course not. Of course not. I also wanted to bring it back, by the way, to 2016. Brilliant 2016, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Brilliant was my roommate actually had a show there.
Okay.
So my roommate Wendy, she's in the program with me. She's actually going to be in Vancouver Fashion Week this September. She's a really amazing designer, so that was just a fundraising event that I got to go to.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's really cool. Okay. Yeah. And were you able to, was it like fashion oriented at all for you, or?
Yeah, I think it was, man, actually. Like,
okay.
That was the runway you were looking at?
No, that was we talked about the Vancouver the runway show that you did.
Van City Street.
Van City Street, yeah. And Brilliant 2016, that was a totally different thing.
It's kind of a gala thing, but
I
it's
see,
still
okay.
good to go out to those events, man. Like, doesn't matter what it is. Like, you don't want to stay in one little lane. Like, it's good to go out and talk to new people, you know? Like, any chance in Vancouver to go out to those events is, like, really good. Like, you'd never know who anybody is. Like, that's why I always say hi to everybody, man. Like, you don't know who that person could be. Like,
yeah.
And there's been countless times when it's just, like, connecting the dots for the next person, you know, like just because you said hi and tell them what you do.
Yeah, totally.
It's crazy.
Totally. So with all these connections that you're making, what are you planning on doing with JB Gear with it? Are you planning on going into mass production and then eventually sort of creating like a web store where people could just like buy your shit?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, since I'm going to fourth year right now, so what happens in fourth year of fashion design degree is you really get to tap into yourself and your brand. And like not everybody in the program like necessarily has a specific brand, but they're definitely going to be working towards that. You know, like they're going to be putting their own thoughts and ideas into this. So at the end of the year, we have a runway and we have to present a brand to our instructors, like full manufacturing, like marketing, like all that's it, like official, right? Like I could go to a retail store and like sell the clothes.
Wow.
You know? So I'm going to take that opportunity and really like dig deep of what I need to do once I get out. Cause like I've invested a lot of money and time into school. I don't want to just go out with no plan, you know? So I think I definitely want to keep the one-of-one work, you know? Like that's like really important to me, like as a symbol for people and all that, you know, like making sure everybody feels themselves and like feels accepted.
Yeah.
Cause like that brings a really awesome connection, you know, like if you're the only person that has it, even though somebody is next to you different, it's still like JB Gear and you can still enjoy that. But I want to have like a main line with like really nicely designed pieces, right? Because like I have a really nice hand for fabrics and stuff. Like I have a pretty good experience through school, like learning the different types of pieces and all that.
Right.
So I would love to apply that and like have a main line brand. So like stuff that people can just find, like regular t-shirts. Because like I know there's a lot of people out there that want to support, but they don't necessarily want to wear all these colorful stuff. Like it'd be cool to have some like a printed stuff, you know, like just for everyday wear. And then I want to have like the JB Gear line, which is like one of one, but like for like big artists, like dealing with a certain clientele that can like inspire the main line, you know?
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Okay, have you worked on like developing the main line very much yet, or is that just sort of an idea right now?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it because like school is like next week, man. Like the summer kind of flew by, but I've made up some samples and stuff like that with some different ideas that I think would be cool.
Very cool, very cool. And is it going to have the JB logo on it, or is it going to be sort of like a different brand name altogether?
I have no idea right now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't want to change it,
Yeah.
but if it's something for like a more better marketing side of things with still my ideas, then it might have to happen. But there's no way JB Gear's going away because like I've already done it, and like what's the point of stopping? Like you want to take it all as far as you can, you know?
Yeah.
Even if like people say the name isn't right or like mainstream, like it doesn't matter. Like you can make it fit in, you know?
Yeah, totally. Even like brands like Carhartt, even though they were known for making like workwear, they started making their own sort of mainstream sort of design clothing thing too, which has the Carhartt name on it. They just put a subtitle to it. So I think you could totally do still something with JB Gear for sure.
I'm just like very bothered by like the industry right now, like fast fashion and all that. It's just like a really dark thing that like not a lot of people know about. Like
Really? What is that?
fast fashion, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
have you seen The True Cost?
No.
If you're listening, go watch The True Cost right now. Like this stuff will change your life. Like you'll understand why. Like doing a lot of upcycling and stuff. Like this fashion industry is like very, very, very harsh on the planet right now, man. Like it takes a lot of work to get these shirts done, and like all these clothes mass manufactured. Like it's very bad for the environment. Like the H&Ms of the world and all that, man. Like it's just like a dirty thing, man. Like I can barely go into the mall sometimes. It just makes me sick. I don't know. It's just a thing that's always bugged me.
Wow. So let's get into that a little bit. I wanted to actually is like is like environmentalism sort of something that you've always had an interest in, or is that?
Yeah. I've always been interested in this stuff, man. Like, even just from like watching Vice and stuff, like you know, like Vice News and all that little things like that, like just like seeing what's out there in the world and like these documentaries, man, like really opened my eyes. Like, but at the same time, it's so hard to just like stop buying those brands, you know, like it's just so everybody's just used to doing it, and like there's phases in the world like it's like a hot topic and then it just silences out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, totally. Is there other things that do you look into like maybe getting zero waste stuff, or have you thought about like do you do other things in your life currently that sort of reduces the amount of harm that we do onto the planet? Or is there any sort of like thing that you do with JB Gear that sort of does that? I mean, I guess the one of one recycling other people's clothes does carry on
that's
with that.
that's like a start. Like people, that's why I encourage people to bring me your clothes. Like, so then you don't have to throw that out right away. You know, it's giving it things new life. It's like really dope. And like, there's a super cool guy. I think he's in New York. It's called Zero Waste Daniel.
Hey, okay.
You've heard of him?
My girlfriend is so into zero waste.
Yeah,
she probably knows
so
about
he's
him.
got a super dope brand going on. He's just using a lot of scraps and everything and making it into crazy pieces.
Okay.
But like, I want to definitely take that direction, like an ethical way of doing things. Like, I don't want just make stuff and like you don't know who's making it in a random factory. Like, I think it'd be dope to like really know who's behind all the brand, you know, like just encourage that, like more supporting local stuff. Like, I don't know, like why you guys keep buying stuff like from overseas? You don't even know who's making this stuff, man.
Yeah.
They're just there for $1. Like, you gotta rock with people that like really care about this stuff from your city and like represent that stuff, man. Like, don't
Buy
be shy.
locally. Yeah.
People are shy sometimes, you know. Like, I don't know. It's just you gotta rock with your people, man. Like in Vancouver, there's a huge scene right now of local brands popping up, and like you gotta support that stuff, man.
Yeah. It's important. It's great for everything. Like every single level that you can think about, local is the way to be, because reduces the amount of environmental impact that we have, supports your local culture, supports the economy, our local economy.
Yeah, for
it
real.
puts more money into our own local pockets and everything.
Yeah, it's just like I'm tired of supporting people that I don't even know.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
You want this life right now that we have, like we're so deep in our phones and everything, we barely be having any personal connections with anyone, man. Like we're just losing that touch. I feel like it was like back in the day we were always together going to a party, you know, connecting. Like you got to bring that back in the community and like really start coming out and supporting people that you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, that's pretty important to me.
Yeah, I rock with that. For sure. Yeah, totally. Great. I think I covered basically everything that I wanted to sort of cover here.
Word.
Honestly. Did you have any last things you wanted to say at all?
I don't know, man. I'm just like super happy that you came through and hit me up for this stuff.
Yeah,
It was
of course.
dope, man.
I
I think
appreciate
you're doing
you
a
being
good
here.
thing out here, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, because like I said, like a lot of people are shy to start out what they're doing. And it's just really important just to start it, you know? Like, you never know who's going to come through and support that. If you have a good idea, and, like, you just roll with it, you know?
Yeah, and you don't know who you know, so, like...
Exactly, man. Like, it's all who you know, man. You got to stay happy and, like, always smile at people, you know, shake everyone's hand, introduce yourself. Don't be the one standing in the corner on your phone, you know? Like, you really got to get out there if you want to do something, man.
Yeah.
Because, like, connections are very important, like... It's just crazy how fast you can connect the dots by meeting people. Like even in Vancouver, like it's just dot after dot. Like, oh, I know this person. Oh yeah, I know this person. Okay, come through. Like, let's get work done. Like, and it's just a really comfortable feeling, you know, once you can like really open up like that.
Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed it. Because, well, I find that with this For the Culture stuff, I didn't really know. I had no idea about what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you obviously didn't know who I was. But just meeting people through people, it just sort of like opens you up. And I'm just like, it blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah,
you
man,
know?
for real.
It's crazy.
Because like even you coming out to the show, it's like that's a whole nother group of people now that you could like have a connection with.
Yeah.
And that's another reason like a local is so important because like that's where it can happen, you know?
Yeah.
If you're going to this huge solo show from like somebody out of town, like you're not gonna connect too many dots, you know.
Exactly.
It can happen for sure. Like you can meet people, but when you go to stuff, when you know people, and then all those people know people, and then you're just building your circle every time you go out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly, and it just gets bigger. It gets bigger really fast too, because the more people you know, the more people know you, and the more you grow as basically your social platform grows.
Yeah, man. And like the music is super dope too. Like a lot of the artists that I work with, like they love rapping about my gear, and like that's like a really crazy feeling, man. Like not many people do that right now. Like actually rapping about clothes, like local stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
like everybody's rapping about Gucci. You don't even know who Gucci is.
Yeah,
you know. It's
exactly.
like rap about people you know, man. Rap about your real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you rocking right now? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that's a crazy story to tell, man. Like we're gonna look back on these songs and all that. Like DZ's writing right now and like stuff like people like that. Kenny in the Valley, you know.
Yeah.
Kenny Boy. And we're gonna look back and be like, oh shit, he was rapping about that shit way back.
Exactly.
And like that's really cool, man. It's all about having a personal connection, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I just love seeing artists like do their thing, man. Like it's the best feeling.
It is. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just adds so much more vibrance to our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like a competition thing either, you know? Like a lot of artists are like tripping over everyone, like, oh no, I'm working with that guy, or like, oh no, like fuck him, he's like too high over himself. But like we're all in this together right now. Like obviously nobody wants to work a regular job. Like that's clearly a trend right now. Like everybody wants to do their own thing. So we got to learn how to support everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And like if we really want to do this and put stuff on the map, like you got to rock with the artists, man.
Yeah.
And the supporters too, and everybody in between.
Yeah. Because what's better for you, you know, just like keeping people away from you or bringing them together, you know, like you build a stronger platform when you have more people supporting each other.
Yeah, for real. And like it just makes people feel comfortable and more better about their lives, you know.
Yeah, totally. Did you have any questions for me at all that you wanted to ask?
What do you want to get out of this thing, like for the Culture Canada? Like do you want to just stay like working with local people, or do you want to like travel across Canada and like go meet new artists, or like how do you want to work it?
Yeah, so my plan eventually is that I want to like really get to know a lot of people in Kelowna first.
Yeah.
I want to just get to know, like, I want to bring everybody that's underground and bring them up to the surface so everybody is aware of like how vibrant our culture is. And I want to have more people sort of look at people like you or people like Tion or whoever and just say, I want to be like that person. I want to have more people want to make their own fashion. I want to have more people make more music and just sort of all sorts of stuff like that, you know?
Man.
So, and what I plan on doing is, you may notice that For the Culture Canada is just that on Instagram, but when you can hear the podcast, that's when there's a that's where it says podcast on it. Word. So that's done on purpose, where it's not necessarily that For the Culture Canada is strictly a podcast. It's more than that. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I wanted to eventually branch off into something way more. Yeah. But in terms of like where I want it to go, I want it to... There's quite a lot of ideas I have in my head, but just for the time being, with the time constraints that I have with sort of my band's project, I am only able to keep it a podcast for the time being. But eventually it'll turn into way more. And I want to branch off into a bigger city somewhere eventually and have it grow from there.
Yeah, of course, man. It's like one stepping stone at a time. Like you don't want to juggle too many different things at once. Like you want to get the podcast right. Like once you got that unlocked, like you move to the next thing. Like once you spread out too much, like your focus is gonna get all wonky, you know. But like if you can manage it, then do it for sure. But like make sure you like really hold it down on one thing at a time, you know.
Exactly. I need to focus on myself mostly, right? Yeah. Because I don't want to get so overwhelmed by different projects that I get that I self-destruct or anything like that.
That's really important to take care of yourself. Like, I know as artists, we go a little crazy and obsessive about things. And, like, just because we love it so much. And, like, sometimes you can't even get a house or, like, you skip meals. Like, I don't even want to eat for the day if I'm sewing. Like, I'll skip all of that, man. Like, and you just got to make sure you have a healthy balance.
Exactly. That's a very true point. Actually, I find that sometimes I'll be so busy on the computer working that I just don't want to go to the bathroom, or I don't want to go eat, or I don't want to do anything. It's like super frustrating. But there are only so many hours in the day too. But you have to, you got to remember that you're human. You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Yeah.
Word.
But, yeah.
Yeah, man. Everything's good. Like, I just love what I do, man. And like, I'm really happy I have like a lot of supporters that have been coming out and showing love. And like, I don't even know, man. I never thought I would be doing this, but like, it's starting to take off a little bit. And like, I think I could really turn this into something, man. Like, and it's not even like a selfish thing for me. Like, anybody who's like trying to make it, like, I know, especially for myself, like, it's for the people, you know. Like, it'd be cool to have someone that you know around here, like, that will pop off, and then you can, like, you know that person, and it's like, that's the whole thing about the community.
Yeah.
Like, whoever's gotten famous, like, it's that community, like, you're gonna know that person. You know, and it's like brings everybody up a level, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, I want to get known, man. Like, I love what I do, and I think like I deserve a spot somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say like I'm the only one to do it, but I just feel like I've had a lot of experience right now, and like I feel like I could do a really good job if someone put me in the right place.
Yeah. Well, I think you're headed in the right direction, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
You're probably going to learn a lot from, from now to the time that you're like 25 or something. You'll learn a lot.
Oh yeah, man. Like, there's always learning curves. Like, even with this show, you know. Like, we're just putting on shows on our own. Like, everything you see is like on our own. All the marketing, like photos, like the way everything looks, the visuals, messaging people, like talking with people up front, like everything is ourselves. Like, I do a lot of stuff alone, and like that takes a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
But like, eventually I want to have a team and everybody, you know, like that's really trying to help out for the vision and everything, you know. Just make sure everything runs smooth so we can put on these dope shows. And like, because like that was a really fun night, man. Like, everybody came out, everyone was so passionate on stage. Like, I love seeing that, man. Like, I had the vision, and like that's what I wanted to be like.
Yo, that was a fun fucking show.
Yeah, bro, that was crazy, man.
I haven't had that much fun at a local show in a long time.
Yeah,
And
shout out to everyone who came out, man.
Yeah, not to knock local shows, by the way, that do happen here, but I just haven't been going to too many lately. But I used to grow up seeing all these like crazy metal bands, and they just crank their amps and play the drums so loud that you literally can't hear anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that hip hop show was insane.
Yeah,
that
bro.
was crazy.
That was dope.
Yeah. And you had DZ play there, and you had Nate Lee and Edge play there, and like,
yeah, Kenny Boy. We had BX came from Vancouver. We had Alea was dancing from Vancouver, man. Like, we just want to bring people together, you know. Like, they killed it, man. Like, they had great energy, man. Like, we got to do more of this stuff for real. Like, these big shows that happen, you know, you don't really get to talk to the artists. Like, they come and leave. Like, they're all like antisocial and stuff like that sometimes. Like, they're just dipping, come to the show. But like this, you really get to connect with people. Like, you get to see the artists, listen to their music, talk to them, you know, get a real connection, man. Like, that's the most important thing I can say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, that's it. Like, the most important thing you can have is a connection with someone.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I'm doing this, man. Like, really want to start something cool with it. Like, I know like Canada's a big place, but there's not a lot of people in Canada doing it like this, man.
You know, there's a whole lot of emphasis on Toronto, obviously, because of Drake.
Toronto's like popping,
but I think there's a big gap that needs to be like filled over in Vancouver, and I think that Vancouver can eventually do it.
Yeah, man, Vancouver's dope, man. There's a lot of really talented artists, man. Like, it give me goosebumps right now. Like, how dope some people are out there.
Yeah.
And like Crescendo One is really doing their thing, trying to push the scene forward, man. They had the Breakout Festival. Like, that is crazy. That was the best festival I've ever been to, man. Like, hip hop brings the whole scene out of people you never seen before, and like these shows they're putting on, man, like it's really starting to pop off right now, and like I just really want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
In Vancouver, man. Like, I love that stuff, bro. Like, any chance I get, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that you'll find your spot when time comes.
Yeah, man, patient for sure. Like, you got to enjoy the process too. I'm not in any rush at all. I love everything. Like, I'm just taking it one step, enjoying the process, enjoying the people you meet now. these connections right now, man, like they matter a lot. Like it's just like the people who rock with you right now, man, like you got to remember these people, man, because like they're supporting you, and like it's not easy to like make something out of nothing, you know. Like it takes a lot of courage, and like when there's people around you that support that, like that's a big deal, man. You got to make sure those people are good, man, and they're happy too, and like doing their own thing, what they love to do. Like you just got to make sure everyone's on the same page, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's awesome. I think we could all use a little bit more connection and working towards something that we all can strive for, and getting the west coast of Canada on the map is what we aim for.
You already know what it is, man. West Coast, baby. It's going to be lit.
Hell yeah.
Everything's going to be lit.
Hell
it's going to
yeah.
be a good place to be, man. We're going to make crazy shit.
Yeah.
It's dope content coming out, man. Just watch it.
Oh yeah.
And I want you guys all to come out to the shows and show love, man.
Yeah.
Everyone can be a part of everything, man.
Yeah, support it. Support all local love that and talent that
local
you
or
see.
no go, man. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Julian, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Thank you for having me. I love talking, you know. Hopefully a bunch of people get to hear what's going on and get to see the side of me. Like, I never really talk on like social media. Like I should start doing a bit, but like this is a really good chance to like get some things off my mind and just like explain to people what's going on.
100%. And by the way, for anybody that didn't make it to the show, I will be posting photos of the show on For the Culture Canada on the Instagram, so you can see it there. You can also maybe see it on Facebook and everything like that as well. But I'm your host, Deepak Batty. Thank you so much for listening. You were just listening to the Julian Bontorin interview, also known as JB Gear.
You already know what it is.
Make sure that you follow JB Gear at Instagram and any other social media platform. Check out the merch. It's really dope. Check out the shows that he has going on. And also make sure to follow us at For the Culture Canada on Facebook and on Instagram, and also For the Culture Canada podcast on all major streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple's podcast app. And make sure that you rate us if you like the episodes. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day, y'all.